All right, welcome to the Get Optimized podcast. I am Chris, your host, and today we are excited to welcome back a couple guests to talk to us about something new they've been working on. You may recognize Al and Heather from our episode on Polaris Brand Promotions. If you haven't, go check that out. It's a good episode, but they have something new. Their new app, SampleFinder, is kind of breaking new ground when it comes to promoting experiential brand activations directly to consumers. So if you're currently selling through distribution or you're thinking about it, this conversation should be pretty interesting to you. I'm excited to dive into it. Heather, Al, welcome back to the show.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. Good to see you.
Of course, it's good to see you guys too. Last time we saw each other was at CES, actually. They came in and we're doing some sample finder stuff. And I'm in Vegas. So I was like, oh, dude, we got to sync up and hang out for a bit. It was awesome to see you guys there as well.
Great
Yeah,
to
that's
meet in
the highlight.
person. Yeah.
Of course, of course. So let's do a little background stuff. For the folks that maybe haven't checked out that episode on Polaris back when, tell us a little bit about your kind of journey into this industry, retail distribution kind of stuff, and kind of where Sample Finder came from a little bit. I don't know who wants to go first, but let's do that.
Let me jump in. Thanks, Chris. I am the president, founder, and owner of Polaris Brand Promotions. We're a nationwide experiential marketing and promotional staffing agency. We primarily do in-store demos, representing products and services directly to consumers. Heather Johnson is our marketing director. And we've been, Polaris Brand Promotions has been around for about 9 years now. And almost a year ago now, I was working in demo because everyone at our corporate level does demos. And it was a really oddly laid out store, like split level, multiple entrances. And I realized that even though I was prominently placed doing this chocolate demo for this client we're representing, I was missing a majority of people that were in the store because they just didn't go past me. They didn't know that there was a demo going on. So I kind of had this kind of light bulb moment go off where I thought, I really wish there was an app to promote these. Now, a lot of times our clients, those being the suppliers and the wholesalers, distributors, whoever hires us to do these demos, they usually rely on the natural foot traffic of the venue that they're in, whether it's a supermarket, a liquor store, even like a sports stadium, just relying on that natural flow of traffic. Well, what we're looking to do is build SampleFinder. Heather and I are both co-founders, as I like to say. I came up with the idea, and Heather's the creative genius. All of the design elements and layout and everything you see comes from her. So what SampleFinder will do is it will not only share upcoming like promo events, demos, samplings, giveaway opportunities for consumers directly with our user base, but we'll also incentivize them through a point system and monthly contests and rewards to engage with the app, to check in when they're on site, to provide surveys and reviews about the brands that they have sampled. And that information goes directly to the brand themselves. We're not going to sell it, not anything like third party or anything like that. But what we really want to do is kind of help sampling really enter the cultural zeitgeist, make it really something fun and interesting and exciting to do. So we're not just looking at it as an opportunity to promote our clients' brands and to get more foot traffic, but to really create unforgettable experiences for those brands directly to the consumers.
Nice, nice. So Heather, you got this. Al had this idea, and he's like, "Hey, Heather, I've got this idea." And when you heard that, were you like, were you clearly seeing the vision instantly, or like, was there a light bulb moment where you're like, okay, this is something we could maybe run with? Tell us about that, like, kind of that process of seeing the vision here from the get go.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is stuff we do all the time. We're so used to this in our industry. I, started for Polaris Brand Promotions as a brand ambassador, and Polaris Brand Promotions is a promo staffing agency that has nationwide events. So we have events all over that we manage. And I have worked for other demos in the agencies in the past too. And I've always wanted a way to do this. Al put it into an app setting, like an environment, which made so much sense to me. But as soon as I heard the idea, I was like, this is what I've always wanted. I used to go out and post on my own social media or like Facebook back in the day where I was going to be and hope people would show up. But that was just to my very few followers. That was not to everybody out in the world. So this is a much better way to reach target audiences ahead of time before brand activations. those brand activations are really cool. I get excited about it. I see it like I want sampling to also be popular for other people too, because it's exciting to try new things. Lots of people like to do that before they buy. And they would if they knew that a demo was coming up soon in their store. They might go out of their way actually to go shopping at that store or at that time so that they can try something new and either get a discount if that's involved in the app. That's up to the client. But yeah, when Al came to me with this idea, I could see it immediately. And it was so exciting to get into the branding. We had mood boards, we had branding identity, logos to design. It's been such a fun project.
Yeah, it's fun to do that vision board kind of stuff. But like, you mentioned something there about, you posting to social media, trying to bring people in. I see that that's like part of the core problem you're trying to solve here is that people just don't know that these activations happen. And I think that's at the core. Is that like the main problem that led you to think that this needs to be solved? Therefore, let's find a solution. Or is there a few other things behind the curtains there that you're trying to help solve in the marketplace here?
There's actually a few, and Al, I'm going to pass this to you in a second. But there are actually a few very different types of problems that we're solving, which is one of the challenges of talking about this concept because it actually solves many problems for many different people. So we try to tailor what we're saying or what the advantages or benefits are depending on who we're speaking to. But overall, yes, the brand awareness is always at the underlying. We want to take the industry of experiential marketing to the next level overall. Go ahead, Al.
Got it.
Thanks. Yeah, Heather really nailed it on the head. There's so many people that we can help through this. I have to admit, kind of selfishly, my first thought was, how do we use this as a medium to benefit our clients? How do we get them more value for their activations? How do we draw more people to those activations and then use that as a method to grow our agency? But we kind of rapidly realized how it can help really a lot of people. First of all, obviously, your suppliers, your wholesaler distributors, getting more foot traffic out to these demo events, and we'll be rewarding them through like monthly contests through the users. We'll be incentivizing them to go out to events and to experience things and to engage with the brand and provide that feedback that then helps out our client, being the supplier, wholesaler, distributor, et cetera. The retailers will be helped out because it'll drive not only more traffic into their stores during the dates and times of the demos, but as I realized early on, it could potentially start moving traffic away from their competition. For instance, if you have, grocery store A that you normally shop at on a Thursday from 4 to 7, you might go as a consumer to grocery store B from 4 to 7 on a Friday because a demo is happening, and then subsequently do all of your weekly shopping at the second option just because there's a demo. So you might be bringing all that business with you. And as for the consumer, I mean, I think it's kind of overall a win-win. You get to learn where different demo events are happening. You get freebies, you get goodies and giveaways. And yes, we are asking you to provide your opinion and your feedback. But we want to voluntarily, yes, we are asking voluntarily for you to provide some feedback, but we are rewarding that by giving away points that we then use to, maybe do like monthly giveaways where we give away gift cards and, little loot crates with our clients' brands in them. And then hopefully using that data to create like customized marketing campaigns for our clients, not just selling information. We don't want to, do that necessarily. But what we want to do is take that feedback and say if someone marks at least 4 out of 5 stars and selects 3 things they likes and indicate that they bought it, we can then send them advertisements about that brand 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, continuously into the future to continue that brand engagement experience far beyond when the demo actually took place. And without just selling lists of data out to people, by really keeping that value in the SampleFinder portal. So really, it's kind of a win-win-win for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of stuff to unpack here. And I want to kind of go down some of these roads. But to start, um, you know, part of the crux of this or part of the direction here is ultimately trying to sell more product, right? And any brand that's selling through distribution, and suppliers as well. And I'm glad you touched on that the suppliers involved in this too. They want to sell more product and drive more foot traffic because everybody's trying to make more money at the end of the day here. And part of that puzzle is getting in front of consumers in a way that incentivizes them to bring them into a place where they can buy the product. That's the whole idea behind these activations, right? These demos are intended to help move and sell product, raise awareness, and that's kind of the core. Am I understanding that right? Is this tools to help sell more stuff, but more effectively, right?
Yes.
Same as
That
retail activations, yeah.
those retail activations and then building brand loyalty alongside of that, more engagement on social media, sort of complementing your digital marketing efforts as well. But the core value of it is moving product off the shelf once you get it into the store.
Got it. Another road to go down here is you mentioned the consumer feedback end of this. And that's really interesting to me because that's a hard thing to do, especially when you're selling through wholesale distribution. If you're on site, you have a bar, a tap room, or a retail front, and you're in front of your consumers all the time, you kind of get some of this feedback there. And you could maybe do your own surveys that go out, and that's kind of complicated and hard, or you could hire a very expensive market research company to do this. But getting that consumer feedback is very valuable on, like, I guess, help unpack that. What do we mean by consumer feedback, and how does that actually help the brand? How are they using that ultimately? Or how do you intend them to use it? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, how we've structured kind of a reward system is, on a points-based kind of hierarchy. Like for instance, if you check in at a demo, you get 10 points, and that would tell us, okay, this is the types of demos that you either enjoy, are close to you, are near to you, and whatnot. And then for 50 points, if you complete a survey, you will, get those 50 points added to your account. And the survey would be, for instance, how would you rate the sample or the brand, the experience overall, like as on a scale of 1 star to 5, 5 being the best. Then you have certain questions like, what did you like the most about this experience? And then did you buy the product? And then a little form area, probably like, 50 to 150 characters. I forget exactly the max, but where you can provide a simple amount of feedback. These aren't going to be posted publicly yet, but they will go to the brand.
Hmm.
And what the brand can do with it is, first of all, see, how many people using SampleFinder actually attended the demo itself. And then from those people that attended, how many completed a survey about it. And then what the brand can do is then come back and say, okay, Heather and Al, we love this. We did 1,000 demos and we have like, 5,000 or so, surveys done. Everyone who said, rated the sample at least 4 stars out of 5 and clicked, these certain criterion and maybe, put generally positive feedback. I want to send them a thank you follow-up coupon that they can either use at a retailer or even maybe use on an e-commerce site. Then they can say, hey, I want an email sent out to them, on a periodic basis to keep, reimagining or refreshing the brand memory to them. Because a lot of times, you try a sample, maybe you buy it once, you run out of it, you forget to reorder it. And at least help keep that brand experience going overall. And we can do this through, text notifications, through email notifications. We're still building out kind of like the structure of how the rewards will go. But what we want to do is launch having a very ethical base of, anonymized user data. So we can send the actual recap data without giving usernames, or maybe even we could give usernames. But we don't want to give out like phone numbers, email addresses, anything like that. And I think the goals can be accomplished with that. There's a lot of opportunity here for expansion and growth with this data. For instance, if a new product is being launched, maybe they'll do a launch party and invite people in an area who've already tried their products. Or you could say, hey, we're launching this new brand in a new market. Before we launch it nationwide, we want to start to get some of that consumer feedback and that data. And, by being on SampleFinder, it's going to be worlds cheaper than hiring focus groups. And, it's going to be very honest. Another way it's going to be honest is, our brand ambassadors for, almost all the time give honest, fair assessment feedback about how they did during their demo. And that's what our client sees. They just see like a one-page summary, maybe a paragraph. And, for the most part, they all give honest assessments, but they are going to want to have it biased in their favor. When you hear directly from the consumer themselves, and you can see how many checked in, how many completed a review, you're actually getting real kind of unbiased opinions about things. So there's a ton of ways in which this data can be used beneficially for the suppliers and for our clients to really help, kind of not only grow their brand, but also like focus their marketing efforts on what really works.
Yeah. I can see where the lines are being drawn from your experience with Polaris. And you guys have been doing these retail level activations and experiential activations for a long time. And you're seeing that, hey, these are really important data points that we want to see. We want to give back to the brands. We understand what's valuable here. How can we go a step deeper here? How can we get more and provide even more value here with this? And the app seems like the perfect vehicle for it. Part of the other part of the equation here is the consumer end, and they have to see value with this too. And Heather, maybe you have some comments on this. Is like, where's the value for the end consumer? And the reason I ask this question is because although our audience is B2B, we're all suppliers selling, producers, whatever. I think it's important to recognize that, hey, this has to be valuable for the consumer to increase user base, therefore for me to get good data. So on the consumer side, what's value for them? What do they get out of checking out this app and using it?
So the users can be divided into multiple user personas. We're going to have people who use this for the discounts and to see what the value they can get from going to certain stores during the events can get them beyond just the free sample. We'll have people who use it to try and find new health products ahead of time. The clients can enter a brand description, and the users can always surf and look for their new favorites and find out ahead of time what is going on in their area. So it helps them do research that's also being provided and backed up with a real life, real world scenario that they can show up to and have their questions answered by a brand ambassador or try the product, maybe multiple flavors at one go. There's also going to be people who use it for the rewards and wanting to get the free stuff, get the free points, rack them up, get the achievements, and become a prominent user on there. As Al mentioned, the advertisements that will be sent to them are for future events. So people who also want to get out and see what's in their area, we do and know we will be focused a lot on in-store demos, but the launch party idea is a perfect example of where else this could be. It also might talk about, tailgates that are happening in your area, something that's popped up. You don't have to go to the game, but there's outside of the game, there's something special where you can get certain things. And other types of pop-up activations like that as well will be included as long as the client is giving away something free for the users. So at the end, the base level is the users get something free from the event. They have to. That's part of the whole thing. SampleFinder. Whether that sample is swag or something special or unique to the brand, that helps as well as tie in what their favorites are and their history in the app provides a background of where they came from as well. So for the people who want to find new products, quite often another issue that we are trying to solve is that we will see people come up, try it and be like, oh my God, that's so good. They'll take a picture of it to remember, and then they leave. While we love that because maybe they do actually save that picture and use it the next time they go shopping, everything that they try along with their review will stay in the app. So once they are outside of the app, maybe they tried something 3 months ago and they're like, oh, I'm buying food now for this party. Actually, I want to get those tortilla chips. What were they? They can go back and maybe they tried multiple tortilla chips. They'll see their review. They can know which one they are. And that's just building so much brand loyalty right there.
Yeah, there's so much cool stuff, right? I think of even in my own purchase history, I've gone to there's a spot up the street called Corey's here. It's a really cool liquor store. They have a tap kind of set up too, and they do some of these demos. I remember there was like this beef jerky that somebody was selling, and I loved it. I was like, this stuff's awesome. I should have bought some when I was there because, like, a week later or whatever, I'm like, man, what the heck was the name of that beef jerky? I want to get it. It was this cool thing, and I couldn't remember what the heck the name was. But if I had had a record of saying, oh, yeah, that was the thing, let me go grab that or order it online or go back to the store and find it, that would be super helpful. Free stuff is cool. Everybody wants to have free stuff, and you never really know about these little activations. And, living in Vegas too, I have a lot of friends that do some of these things. There's all kinds of liquor activations and product activations, brand activations on the strip and things. And I remember when I was in college, I had friends that all did that kind of stuff. And now that I'm older, I'm like, I know all this stuff goes on, but like, it would be cool to do some of those things because they're really neat. There's cool things. There's like pool parties, beach parties, all kinds of different things going on. I'm like, that stuff's cool, but I have no idea this stuff is going on. Wish there was a way to see it. And there's just no platform out there that does a good job of this until now, potentially here with SampleFinder. So excited for what's going to happen here. There's clear benefits for brands. There's benefits for supplier and foot traffic and those things. And there's benefits to the consumer. I'm curious, you guys are close to launch, or at the time of recording, you're close to getting this thing out. But you've kind of started demoing this a little bit out there. I'm curious what the feedback has been so far on things and what you're hearing in the limited amount of demos and previews we've done.
We did have a chance to demo a clickable prototype that Heather had developed at CES, I guess formerly now known as the Consumer Electronics Show, as well as the National Retail Federation, the NRF Big Show in New York. Both of these were in January. I would say the feedback was overwhelmingly positive. I think, once people not only understood what the app did and the potential for it, they really thought it was a kind of a revolutionary idea. Definitely saw the value in it. I don't remember any particular instances, Heather, unless you do that, that jump out. But overall, I mean, I think it's really positive. What we've heard out there, and really just excited to get it launched and have people actually interacting with it and providing kind of some real world feedback as it grows.
Excellent. Heather, anything to add on the feedback front? You were at CES too. Yeah. What was the thoughts?
That was my first time at CES. We were set up in Eureka Park. So we were debuting a brand new, the world's first experiential marketing app, which needed its own definition for some people who were walking around, which we were happy to give. What was really cool is there were people who were interested on the side of clients. We've talked to our clients. We've talked to actually also our competitors in the promo staffing world. As far as we know, SampleFinder doesn't have any competitors at the moment. But our agency, there's tons of promo staffing agencies all over the place. We pride ourselves on being one of the best, especially with the years of experience and the level of care that we put into our work. But we're also making sure that this is something that elevates all of us, the industry as a whole, that, as we mentioned, that includes all the benefits for the users, the stores, the retailers, the suppliers, but for the agencies as well, to have the option to give to their clients. And, if you do work with our agency, you will get your events on there for free. If you work for another agency, though, or say you house them or you staff them in-house, which a lot of people do when you're smaller, that is still an option available for you to have your event featured. So that was something that we were sharing a lot with while we were there. And some people were even just like, okay, well, wait a minute. I need to sign up for your newsletter to find out when it launches because I want to be a user. Like, I'm interviewing you as somebody interested in new products at CES, but I also personally want to use this when I'm shopping. So it was cool. We had a variety of reactions.
That's awesome. You've got some value in there if the brand is like, yeah, I want to use it, and also that same person's like, I want to be a user of this because I want to go get free stuff and reap these benefits as well. So that's good to hear. Good feedback so far.
Yeah.
What's the future look like here? What's the vision for launch and beyond then? What are some of the big things you hope to accomplish with the app and with the program overall?
Well, Heather and I already have our yachts picked up for when we sell this for $100 million. No, I'm kidding. I wish, knock on wood, let's hope. I mean, the overall goal is to, just get volume from both ends. That's kind of the short-term goal. We have some strategic partnerships lined up to get the content on the app, to get demo events, not only ones that are run by our agency, but are run by other strategic partners and other agencies, to get that kind of that nationwide content out there so that when the initial batch of users gets on the app, they'll have something to see, whether they're in Miami, whether they're in LA or New York or Chicago. And then, we're going to tap into our existing network of brand ambassadors to become our core group of users. We have around 9,700 brand ambassadors in our agency roster. So we want to, hit them up. I think they'll understand it, they'll appreciate it, and try to get them on board and get them to be advocates to their friends who are in the industry, their friends and family. And then from there, just scale and grow. I mean, we really want to use this as an avenue to grow our staffing. I guess you could call it our staffing division of our agency. We want to use this as well, not only a platform to get new clients, but also to offer something our competitors don't. I've often described the promo industry as almost like the pizza industry. Like you have like a few major players, and then you've got a million little mom and pops, and in every little city. That's a lot of the way our industry works. Is you have a lot of little regional or little city or area-based agencies, and a few big ones. And we want to kind of use this as a platform to really help us differentiate ourselves and offer something that our competitors don't. Not only a way to to staff sampling events, but also to promote them to users as well, and to make it very cost effective, to provide a value add that that other agencies aren't, and to really help develop that brand engagement. No real major long-term like vision or goal. I think we're just going to kind of try to use that as our platform, our growth plan, to build our user base on the app, to get activity going, to offer bigger and better prizes every month, and really help establish ourselves as a leader. And then as opportunities present themselves in the future, like for instance, if a large chain is doing grand openings and they want to bring us on board to help promote those specifically, or if there's a way to incorporate maybe like different, I'd have to say, like, how about this? Like if different like companies want to advertise with us on the app and do things like that, we'll have the platform available. Like if they want to do consistent pop-ups, or they're launching a new nationwide product and they want to do some promotion and advertising through our social media, through the app, all those options are on the table right now. Our goal is really at this point just launching a quality app that works great from day one and provides value to the users and to our clients.
Has it been fun? I'll put fun in italics in my voice here, figuring out how to build an app, because that's a whole bag of things that is challenging here, is app build. What's that been like?
Yeah, that was a very interesting process for me. So I do freelance design. I have been a graphic designer. That's what I went to college for. And event design has been a lot of my focus. So helping with the branding and helping set up different things for our clients. So tackling this as a branding project has been so much fun. And I'm so thankful for the opportunity. Designing a full app. And then we did a lot of searching to find the right app developers to work with, make sure that we are on the same page. We're very in touch with them, which has been a good thing, so that we can make sure that we are heard and make sure that the values that we want to express through the app, our goals and all of the branding and everything stays consistent. So that has been really fun. And seeing, in my mind, sometimes I run ahead to phase 2 already, but I'm excited for when phase 1 comes out.
Yeah, it's challenging. It seems like you have a really, positive experience with your experience, Heather. I've worked on apps in the past, and web dev is very similar. It's tough. There's a lot of things in programming language and thinking like a computer thinks, and how you really build this thing out. And I don't think people quite understand, if you've never done it before, or you just aren't, you don't run a business, and you just a consumer that does other things. You don't quite see all the back end of what goes into these things. It's like blood, sweat, and tears, literally sometimes. It's challenging. It's hard. You put a lot of effort into this thing, and a lot of time, a lot of money into these things, all to accomplish this vision. But to see it come to life and to get feedback on it, and actually see it do some of the things that you wanted it to do, has to be super rewarding. And I know you guys are chomping at the bit to have that happen, so you can have that experience and be like, we did it. We made it. People are using it. Oh my God, it's working. Yeah.
I will throw a party when I see when the app is finished and I can see it. And you're right. There's so much that because if you're not living in that world, even simple stuff like UX and UI, which is user experience and user interface, have to connect to each other. They have to speak to each other. There is a specific language when you're designing it. And even making a prototype, I was, overcoming certain challenges to be like, wait a minute, nope, a user wouldn't click that first. They would be over here. And just making sure that everything is in alignment so that it creates an experience, a journey, a very straightforward journey. Nothing that, you can customize it as the user as best as you want, but you're not going to get lost because the user interface is there for you. The experience is not going to be cumbersome. So yeah, learning and leaning into that has been great. And we're working on translating that with our app developer.
Yep. And to blend that all with being thoughtful to the consumer, being thoughtful about the wants and needs of the brands and of the partners that will be part of this, is its own level of complication. And I can tell that both of you are very focused on that. As you said, Al, you want this to be something that is valuable to people and usable first. And then let's worry about, the massive growth strategy later. That's not my main objective here. My main objective is let's do something well, let's do it right and make it useful. And I think that's the right way to approach it here too, with that. And it feels authentic. And I think that will help in the marketplace and with people. Hopefully people see that when they're using this app and partnering with you guys. I'm excited to check this thing out when it comes out. I've seen some of the cool stuff behind the scenes. Thank you guys for letting me take a look. But when can people get involved? And when that time happens, how do they get involved?
Right now on our site, there is a newsletter pop-up that you can sign up for getting information about the launch. When we launch, you'll get a heads up. So that is SampleFinder.com. You can also find that through our agency website, which is Polaris Brand Promotions.com. And once we launch, it's off.
Nice. Is that also where you go if you are a brand and you want to get involved? Is there like a node for that to say, I want to be on this thing and get my activations out there? Same website, SampleFinder.com.
Same website. There's a contact form.
Excellent. Anything else you guys want to add on this stuff? I mean, what else can give you the platform here to talk about some other things here? If you have some other stuff we didn't cover, I'm happy to do that as well.
There is one thing I wanted to cover. It's that we're launching under the hashtag of Save Retail. I'm actually in the process of writing a paper that's tentatively going to be titled The Death of the Retail Experience. And what we're going to kind of discuss in the article, Heather's helping to, provide some input and edit it for me, is we're going to kind of propose kind of a doomsday scenario for like brick and mortar retail. We kind of see the industry going in the direction that within 10 to 20 years, no one's actually going to be shopping in physical stores anymore, which is rather dramatic, but it's kind of heading that way. We're starting off with like online shopping and online delivery. Now it's going to like grocery delivery. I can very easily see a world where supermarkets, you don't go in and browse aisles and whatnot. You go in, you go to a kiosk, and you either, pick up your order or you place an order, and then someone behind the scenes fills it. We're kind of going that way now with like kind of some of the larger like fast food chains where they don't have a cashier that takes your order and types it in. They just have a kiosk now for everything. And, it's going to come to the point where just you can't shop in a store anymore. And I think the retailers are going to like it in a way because, you're going to save a lot of money. You're not going to have to worry about loss prevention as much. You're not going to have to worry about like, moderating temperatures in like these open air cold cases. You're not going to have to worry about signage, about, cleanliness, about maybe like public bathrooms, things like that. It's going to save a lot of money, but it's going to be very detrimental to the consumer purchasing experience. What I mean by that is, take some of the things you won't be able to do anymore. Like, for instance, you can go in and you can pick your produce, you can pick your meat or seafood, you can inspect it and look at it before you put it in your cart and pay for it. When you're in an aisle and you're looking for maybe like, for instance, salsa, well, you see all the salsas kind of grouped together. So if you want to try something new, if you're looking for something different, you can see that. This is going to take away from that. And not only that, but I feel that the quality of the items you receive are going to be a lot lower.
Mm.
The overall problem is going to be that the pain of returning these items is going to be a lot less than the pain of just sucking it up and living with them. Like for instance, like, oh, the meat that I got, maybe it didn't have as much meat on it, or is a little too fatty, or maybe the produce you got has a few like bruises and things. And you like think, well, I could just live with this as opposed to like I'm not going to go drive to the store and return it or ask for another one.
Yeah, I
Uh,
wouldn't do that. I'd be
right,
like, yeah,
exactly.
screw it. I'll just live with it.
Exactly. Or if the box has a tear in it or something like that, or maybe, what you bought that you're going to use over the next couple of weeks expires tomorrow. So there's a lot of ways in which, if you're just delivering things, especially like grocery style items, and in our industry specifically, it's going to kill that ability for brands, especially newer brands, up and coming brands, to promote their products directly to consumers. It's going to remove that competitive advantage because a lot of these online retailers, when you type in a search term such as like cola or salsa or potato chips, what's going to appear at the top of the search results is what they want you to see. It's not going to necessarily be the newest thing, the most innovative thing. And it's going to be even more power and control in the hands of especially the major retailers. And also, it's going to kill the in-store demo experience. So, what we want to do is kind of convert the retail space from one in which it's a necessity that you have to go there to buy things to one that's an experiential engagement zone, a place where people can try new things, experience new things, offer something that the app experience just can't or isn't willing to offer to you.
Dude, I love this. Man, I wish we would have led with this because this is powerful message. Seriously, like I think there are key like societal issues that are part of this. People feel lonely and lonelier every single year. We get lonelier, and this is the same trend lines correlate with our dependency on delivery, dependency on like not interacting with each other and human beings out in the wild. And, we need those kind of interactions as humans. And my wife and I, we love going to the store. When we first started dating, like, one of the, not the first things we did, but early on, it was like, I need to go to the grocery store. You want to come with me? And like, she's like, oh, I like going to the grocery store too. And we connected that way. And like every Sunday, now we go to the store and we have fun just walking up and down the aisles and finding what we need to find. And that's part of our human experience. And I think people need that. And I don't, what you were describing is like kind of like dystopian. It's like, I show up, here's a robot, tells me what I have, and oh well, I'll just live with the bruised apple or whatever. Like that sucks, dude. That sounds
Yeah.
like a terrible way to live. And if SampleFinder can help curve that and change the trajectory of where we're headed, then I'm all for it because I would love the experience zone. That sounds sick. You go into the store and you're like, oh, cool, I got to try stuff. I'm sampling things. I got mustard over here. Doing that sounds like a way fun experience. And that sounds like a world I want to live in. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. So let's recap. SampleFinder, new app coming out soon. When it's available, or even right now, if you're interested, samplefinder.com is the place to go to. And we will put that link in the show notes, by the way. So if you're looking for it, just check the show notes. You can find it. And look out for this Save Retail article and situation that Al and Heather are putting together as well. That seems like a really cool research project positioning thing you guys are doing. What else am I missing here with folks and where they should go? Anything?
PolarisBrandPromotions.com for all of your experiential marketing and promo staffing needs.
There you go. PolarisBrandPromotions.com. We'll also put that link in the show notes as well. Heather, Al, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming back on. Thank you for making SampleFinder. I'm excited to check it out. And we'll do this again, I'm sure, sometime.
Yeah, thank you. It's been so much fun, and I'm so glad we get to meet and connect again.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys, I'll
Thanks,
catch you next
Chris.
time.
Bye-bye.